Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing today? Happy Sunday. So, we just wrapped coffee and a chat over on Zoom. So, I'm hopping on here to hang out with you guys, do a little wellness on the mat video. Um, in coffee and a chat today, we dubbed Sunday Reset Sunday. And I like that. And that's why I picked Sunday for this group. Is so that it's kind of a nice way to start the week, right? Start the week kind of on a good tone, setting yourself up for success. And maybe we don't hit all of our goals, and that's okay, but at least we're trying, right? And that's really what we talked about today in our group. So the card we drew today was achievement, which I think is really, really fitting. And what the book kind of tells us about this card is we will get further and achieve more if we can sink in and operate in alignment with our true nature and our true selves and live within that heart space, right? Versus being focused on like getting a thing. So if you're just like, I want to make all the money, but like you hate your job or whatever, like you're creating this suffering and this stress for yourself. So if you pause, find that alignment, come into that place, and then operate from there, life becomes a lot easier. And we're actually more likely to achieve a lot more. So kind of in that theme, excuse me, we our takeaway this week in group was to sit and this is an activity I've done quite a bit for myself. It's kind of something I do all the time, right? It's kind of always happening in my head. There's a few times I've sat down very specifically and written it out and journaled about it and stuff, but just kind of a reflection and an exercise now that I do often. So what I'm thinking, what I told the girls about today is sit down, take some time, and think about your ideal day, right? Like, if you had all the things you wanted and everything was going the way you wanted it to be in your life, what does that look like? And I'm not talking so much about like pencil down. I wake up at 5 a.m. If that works for you, do it this way. But like, it doesn't have to be like I wake up at 5 a.m. and from 5 to 5:15 I drink tea. And it doesn't. I'm not talking about like a structure and a schedule necessarily. What kinds of things in your life is it in your ideal day? How are you spending your time? Right? If you love to hike, do you hike? How much time do you spend dedicated to that and doing it? If you love to read, when was the last time you read a book? You love to cook, you love to bake. When was the last time you did it? You love to play guitar. When was the last time you picked it up and played a few notes, right? What are those things that are in that alignment, right? What are those things that you come back to, that you miss, that you love? How are those things incorporated into your life, right? What role do they play? And are you giving them the time and attention you wish you were? And once you kind of get this picture, this idea of your ideal day, right? So for me, here's some ideas. The first time I did this, my ideal day was things like, I have a happy and healthy relationship with food, and I eat, really nourishing meals. I've spent a lot of my life on a diet and counting calories and focused on losing weight. And when I changed the way I thought about that, I actually had the first successful weight loss I've ever had in my life, right? And I've been able to maintain and keep that off and keep getting towards my goals. Because I kind of changed my thinking, right? I was like, all right, I'm going to count all my calories. I didn't write in my ideal day, I eat 600 calories a day, right? Or I'm super skinny. But what was I really looking for? What was that alignment? It was like, I'm feeding myself nourishing meals that make me feel good, that I love. And now, like, I spend more time in my kitchen again, which I wasn't really doing, and I cook, and I'm doing those things, and I love it, and it makes a big difference. I spend time outside in nature every day. That's in my ideal day. And again, those things end up being active, healthy things, right? I love to go hiking. I love to kayak. I love to be out on the water. I love to just go for a walk, right? It doesn't have to be like mountain climbing or anything, but just going and taking a walk and just being outside. Sometimes just going and sitting outside and reading a book for 15 minutes, right? Getting some sunshine, being out there is how I get my hit of like nature for the day. But it spills into all these other things, right? So I didn't have to write down in my ideal day like I work out for 60 minutes. No, I just inherently now I just naturally spend time doing active things that are healthy because that's become a priority for me, right? That's my ideal day. That's something that hasn't changed. And this is why, like, this is something I'm kind of always doing, right? Because our needs change, our ideas change, what we want changes. So as that's changing, let's keep reevaluating. But, like, that's still a priority for me, right? To have that time outside in nature. And it just also benefits me in other ways because of how I do that. So once you have that ideal day, once you kind of know what it is you're trying to achieve and to hit, then we sit down and we look at, where am I at? What are my habits? How am I spending my time every day? We all live in this land of, I'm so busy, I don't have time, right? If you start a conversation right like this, right? Maybe you're thinking like, oh sure, because I have time to do all these things in my I don't have time for that. Like, but do you or don't you? All right, like I was saying to the girls today, you scroll on Netflix, or you sit and binge Netflix, you scroll on social media on your phone, right? I lose hours sometimes just scrolling. All of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, like I've been sitting here forever. What am I doing? And, then I'm like, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time to do that thing that I really want to do. But I did. I just chose to spend my time differently. And everyone has different needs and different priorities, right? So these aren't like judgments. Like I said to the girls, hey, if for an hour a night you decide that you're going to scroll through social media and that's how you're going to spend your chill time, you're good with that. That doesn't upset you. You don't feel like in the morning when you wake up, oh man, I didn't get to all those things I wanted to do. Like, oh, I'm so busy, I don't have any time. That's how you're feeling all the time after your hour scroll. Maybe you shouldn't be doing that. But if you wake up in the morning, you're like, cool, another day, ready to go, start it up. You're not upset about that. You don't have to change that behavior, right? You're in charge. You get to decide what behaviors and habits and things work for you and what don't. But if things that you're doing don't leave you feeling good, right? That's because we're not in that alignment. We're not in that place. Like I started this conversation with the girls. It's like the accepted definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and again and expecting a different result. So if every day you're waking up and all your little choices and habits are exactly the same as the day before, but every day you're going to bed pissed off that your life is nothing like what you want it to be, you're the only person that can do anything about that. It's not your boss's fault. It's not this person's fault. It's not that angry cashier's fault. It's not because it rained. It's not because of any outside force. It is up to you to decide, these are the things I'm not doing. I'm not happy. These are the things I want. And then we decide, how do we get there, right? How do I bridge the gap between my actual real day and how I'm spending my time and this ideal day that I want to have? How do I get there? And it's those little choices that we make every single day. It's our little habits. Every decision you make every day, every time you choose to spend your time some way, every time you spend your energy some way, you're making a choice, right? And you're deciding. So if you're not happy with how things are going, you have to make a different choice. There's so many examples of how we can talk about this. Like we take on stress from outside forces, right? Like somebody pisses us off in a store and now we have a whole bad day and we're like, we'll still be talking about hours later. I can't believe that asshole, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, you're holding on to that, right? And like, if somebody wrongs you, right, that's different. Like there's different things. There's a level of discernment we have to operate in the world with. But like, how big a deal was it really, right? Like that person cut you off in traffic or something happened. And how often do you hold on to that thing and create all this stress and anguish in your life? Or like you wake up and you wanted to do something, it's raining or the weather isn't exactly how you want it. I don't know about y'all, but I don't have Mother Nature's phone number. I don't know how to call her up and be like, I ordered 75 and sunny today and you delivered 52 and cloudy. Like, I don't know how to do that. But I can just deal with it, right? Because being miserable all day is my choice. It's my decision. Or it's my decision to be like, all right, well, this sucks. It's not really what I wanted, but let's make the best of it. And this just goes for so much stuff, right? Like, this is just such a deep conversation that we can get into, and we can take this really far. And again, it's not about judgment, right? It's not about criticizing yourself. I'm not telling anybody what's good or bad, right? A lot of these are examples of my life, right? These are my bad choices, my bad behaviors, my things that I'm working on, the steps that I'm taking to get to that ideal day versus not ideal day. And sometimes, like, we make a choice, and it's not the best choice, but when you're making the choice versus just following patterns and being stuck in things, then it starts to shift. That's when you start to make the progress, right? Like, I don't always do the right thing, right? I know lots of ways that I should do certain things, right? Like foods I should, like when I have a friend visiting this weekend, we ate out a lot. I ate a lot of food I don't normally eat. I had a few beers, which I don't normally do. But I also kind of knew, like, I just have this friend here for a weekend. I want to, go have fun, and we're going to try all these things and go all these places and do all this stuff. And it's all right that we stay up late and I have a few beers and I eat this food because, like, on Monday I'll just get back to my habits. And, like, I made a choice. I didn't let life happen and make choices for me. So I'm not upset at myself. I'm not like, oh man, like I'm so bad. I stayed up late last night, and I made sure that I got all my priorities done, my non-negotiables. I still got up, did what I needed to do, did my work, taught my classes, did my coffee and a chat today, right? Even though I was a little tired and I stayed up too late last night, because I made the choices. I made the decisions. So even though maybe it's a bad habit or a not great behavior, or I could be living a little higher or a little better, it's okay, because in this moment, this was the right choice, right? For today, staying up late and maximizing the time with my friend and having a lot of fun with her and enjoying our weekend together, that's my alignment, right? That's hitting here. I'm not sad about it. I'm not going to bed like, oh, I fucked my whole day up. I shouldn't have done that, right? Like, so it's up to you. How are you feeling about your choices and your behaviors? Nobody else can tell you that they're good or bad, or what's good for me is not going to be good for you, right? What's my alignment is not your alignment. So this isn't me telling anybody that they're right or wrong or good or bad. You get to make those choices. Only you know what your ideal day is. And if your ideal day is eating McDonald's and sitting around and not doing anything and, being miserable and if whatever you're doing that maybe you think is bad or something, like, or you think I think is bad, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think. What's bad for me, not bad for other people. If at the end of the day you're content and you're happy with yourself, that's what counts. That's what matters. As long as you're not saying you can, like, go murder people if you're content with yourself at the end of the day. Like, we have to live from a good place, right? But that's what it comes down to, is whether or not you're in alignment with right here and how you feel about your choices. So let's stop being the bad kind of insane together, right? And expecting different outcomes from the same choices. And let's try something a little different, right? Give it a shot. If you don't try, you definitely don't get. If you do try, maybe it works. Maybe you get. So, as I said to the gals, this can be a little overwhelming, right? Maybe you do this exercise, you create this ideal day, and then you look at your day and you go, all right, well, shit, Marlena, now what? How do I get here? that's where I can come in and help you guys and we can talk about it, right? So if you do this exercise and you're like, okay, what's next? Send me a message. We can chat and figure out, like, what's that first step? What's one thing I can do different today that's going to bring me to that ideal day, right? Because it's not about doing it all at once and changing everything, right? We know that that doesn't really work. But just finding one thing that's going to bring you closer to that place. And then we start making progress and we get a little bit closer all the time, because it's all about progress, not perfection, right? These are our deep habits. Some of them are cultural and societal and social norms, right? Behaviors that are just kind of put on us and expectations. This is a radical difference, right? To talk about living in alignment with what really lights you up, right? What's in your soul? What are you here to do? What are the things that matter? And if we can come to that place, right? That's how we get our achievement. That's how we get our card. That's how we get all the things we want, is when we lock into this. So hopefully that was helpful and makes sense. I always feel a little bit like I ramble. I think it's because I'm just talking to myself and it's weird to just talk to myself. But I love you guys. I hope everybody has a beautiful week. So Reset Sunday, I like that. Get back on track for the week, doing the things that we know. Hit this place, hit that alignment. So I love you guys. I hope everybody has a beautiful week. Drop me a comment, send me a message, whatever you need. We can chat. Come join us for coffee and a chat, and we can go a little deeper even. And that's all I got for you guys today. So, mwah, be good, my loves.